There is a region in space so distant, so silent, and so unimaginably dark that even the bravest beams of light refuse to travel through it. A place where the universe stops behaving like a universe, and starts behaving like something alive. Slow down, take a soft breath, and allow your mind to drift into that darkness with me. Because tonight, our journey takes us face to face with the biggest, most terrifying black hole ever discovered, an entity so massive and so ancient that even calling it the largest feels embarrassingly small. This isn't just a black hole, it is a cosmic beast, a monster born from gravity itself, quietly sitting in the deep night of the universe, waiting, watching, and consuming. Imagine floating in the vast, endless ocean of intergalactic space. No planets. No dust. No warmth. Only the faint glow of galaxies far away, twinkling like distant islands. And then, somewhere in this emptiness, you notice a strange patch, a place where no stars shine back. A circle of perfect, unnatural black. You don't just see the darkness, you feel it. A deep, ancient pull that seems to whisper through the fabric of reality. Not loud. Not angry. Just patient. Like something that has been here long before you were born, and will remain long after the last star in the cosmos burns out. This is the realm of TON 618, the most massive black hole ever detected, a gravitational supermonster with the mass of 66 billion suns compressed into a single point. 66 billion stars, each one hotter and heavier than our sun, crushed so tightly that the universe itself bends inward. You and I cannot truly imagine that. The human brain isn't built for it. We struggle to visualize just 10 suns next to each other. But 66 billion? This is the kind of number that feels like it belongs in mythology, not astronomy. Yet it exists. It lives out there, in the cold labyrinth of deep time, glowing faintly with the last screams of the matter it devours. If you were floating near it, TON 618 wouldn't appear as an object. It would appear as a shadow surrounded by a burning halo, an enormous disk of blazing hot matter spiraling into oblivion. This disk, called an accretion disk, shines brighter than an entire galaxy. Imagine a single black hole outshining the combined light of hundreds of billions of stars. Its glow is so powerful that it can travel across 10 billion light-years and still reach Earth. That's how astronomers first discovered it. Not by seeing the black hole itself, but by seeing the violent light of the material it was devouring. When matter falls into a black hole, it doesn't go quietly. It is heated to millions of degrees, tearing itself apart, colliding with other particles, spinning faster and faster until the entire disk becomes a cosmic furnace. The light it emits is not peaceful, it is the desperate, final cry of matter being erased from reality. But the most terrifying part is the size of that invisible mouth. TON 618's event horizon, the point of no return, is wider than the entire solar system, including the region far beyond Pluto. If this monster replaced our sun, we wouldn't even know it existed at first. Earth, Mars, Jupiter, all would be swallowed instantly, their orbits disappearing into the darkness like tiny drops of ink into an endless ocean. The diameter of this black hole is almost 260 billion kilometers. To go around it once, even at the speed of light, would take almost 29 hours. Light. The fastest thing in existence. One full day just to circle the edge of this shadow. But the real terror begins when you imagine falling toward it. Most people think you would be stretched violently, torn apart instantly. That is true for small black holes. But the biggest ones, the true giants like TON 618, are strangely gentle. Their gravity is so evenly distributed at the event horizon that your body would remain intact as you enter. No pain. No sound. Just a calm slide through an invisible doorway. A doorway that leads to a place physics refuses to describe. That's the true horror of giant black holes. They consume you peacefully. As you drift closer, time begins to slow for you, slowly at first, then dramatically. From your perspective, the universe behind you accelerates. Stars stretch into lines. Galaxies blur. The entire cosmos seems to age faster and faster. Billions of years could pass in moments. If someone watched you fall from far away, they would see you slow down, freeze, and fade out, forever stuck on the edge of the event horizon. To them, you would never truly fall in. But from your point of view, you would fall endlessly. Slow, calm, silent. Like descending into the throat of a sleeping titan. The calmness of the fall is the most unsettling part. Humans fear loud monsters, roaring beasts, terrifying claws. But the universe? Its biggest monster whispers. Ton 618 does not chase its prey. It waits. Quietly. Patiently. Because everything that comes too close must fall. Not because it chooses to, but because gravity has sculpted a perfect trap from which nothing escapes. As you drift deeper into its gravitational well, space stretches. Time bends. Physics begins to dissolve at the edges. Every rule you've ever known, motion, distance, even the idea of before and after, begins to lose coherence. By the time you cross the event horizon, the outside universe becomes unreachable. You are no longer part of the cosmic story. You are inside something that cannot be understood, only accepted. A place where the universe ends, quietly. And TON 618 has been doing this for billions of years. Long before the sun was born. Long before Earth existed. Long before life took its first breath. This monster has been eating stars while our ancestors were nothing more than cosmic dust. Its hunger has shaped galaxies. Its gravity has carved out regions of space like a sculptor carving stone. It is not just a black hole, it is a cosmic empire, a shadow king ruling a region of darkness where even light kneels. And this is only the beginning of our journey. As we drift deeper into the universe, farther from the warm bubble of the Milky Way, the true scale of TON 618 begins to unfold. You would think something this large, this ancient, this violently powerful would be rare. A cosmic accident. An anomaly. But the truth is far more unsettling. Black holes grow. Not slowly, not gently, but greedily, through a process called accretion, a word that sounds innocent but hides an unfathomable reality. Black holes eat everything. Gas clouds. Stars. Planets. Nebulae. Even entire star systems torn apart like fragile threads. Gravity is their appetite. And the universe feeds them constantly. Ton 618 didn't start as a monster. Billions of years ago, it might have been a normal-sized black hole, maybe just a few times the mass of our sun, the kind that forms after a star explodes. But something happened. Something gave it access to unimaginable amounts of matter. Perhaps it sat in the path of a dense, star-forming region. Perhaps two black holes merged and created a seed that could grow faster. Or perhaps, and this is the most chilling possibility, TON 618 formed from the direct collapse of an enormous primordial cloud, creating a black hole that was already millions of suns heavy from the moment it was born. Whatever the truth is, this black hole began growing faster than anything else around it. Imagine a baby born the size of a truck, that grows into a mountain, then a continent, then a planet, and then keeps growing. That is TON 618. Its accretion disk, the swirling ring of doomed matter around it, is one of the brightest objects in the universe. Not warm, golden light. Not the comforting glow of stars. But violent light. Light created by matter tortured at millions of degrees as it spirals toward annihilation. If we were close enough to see it with the naked eye, the sight would be breathtaking, and terrifying. A gigantic whirlpool of incandescent plasma, vast enough to dwarf solar systems, rotating so fast that time itself runs differently across its surface. Closer to the center, the disk becomes chaotic, turbulent, shredding anything unfortunate enough to fall in. You would see the spiral not as smooth or uniform, but as a violent storm of cosmic fire, a hurricane of light and gravity. Just above the disk, powerful jets erupt at nearly the speed of light, beams of energy so intense they could sterilize entire galaxies. These jets are created when magnetic fields twist and snap, funneling material upward in a dazzling cosmic explosion. Each jet extends for millions of light-years. Longer than the distance between galaxies. They paint streaks across the universe like the claws of a sleeping monster scratching at the cosmic fabric. And yet, despite all this violence, the black hole itself remains silent. The monster never roars. The monster never moves. The monster never announces its presence. It simply bends space so severely that reality behaves like liquid around it. The most fascinating, and terrifying, part of TON 618 is the event horizon, the invisible boundary surrounding the black hole. It's not a physical surface. It's not a wall. It's a one-way door. The moment you cross it, everything you are, your atoms, your information, your existence, becomes part of the black hole's story. But what's even more haunting is this. From the outside, nothing ever appears to pass through it. Imagine watching a friend fall toward the black hole. At first, they drift normally. Then slower. Then slower still. Their movements stretch, freeze, and eventually fade into darkness. To you, they hover forever at the edge, never crossing, never disappearing. The black hole keeps the last fragile glow of their image suspended on its border. Like a ghost. This effect is caused by gravitational time dilation, one of the strangest predictions of Einstein's theory. Time slows in strong gravity. Near a black hole, time almost stops entirely. Which leads to a chilling thought. To an outside observer, TON 618 is coated in the frozen images of everything it has ever consumed. Stars. Gas. Planets. And perhaps, if any existed, civilizations. All trapped in a thin, invisible film of distorted light around its horizon. Ghosts of time, forever falling, never arriving. But from the viewpoint of the falling object, from your viewpoint, the story is very different. If you drifted too close to the giant monster, you wouldn't feel yourself slowing. You wouldn't see the universe freezing behind you. To you, everything feels normal. You fall. Calmly. Smoothly. Silently. And the outside universe seems to rush forward, galaxies rotating faster, stars moving quicker, cosmic seasons changing in seconds. Billions of years might pass in a blink as you fall inward. When you cross the event horizon, nothing special happens. No flash. No noise. No rupture. You simply drift into a place where distance and direction no longer have meaning. Inside, the concept of space collapses. Everything moves toward the singularity, the core, not because it's a place, but because it's the only possible direction left. The singularity is the ultimate monster. Not a physical object. Not a thing you can touch. But a point of infinite density where all known physics breaks down. TON 618 singularity is so massive that numbers fail. Your mind fails. Our equations fail. Inside such a giant, time might flow inward. Space might behave like a river. You might see the entire universe compress into a single terrifying image before you vanish. Or maybe, you see nothing at all. Some theories say you fall into another universe. Some say you stretch infinitely. Some say randomness erases you. Some say your information is preserved on the event horizon forever. The truth is simple. No one knows. TON 618 guards its secrets perfectly. It is not just a monster. It is a mystery, the deepest one in the cosmos. And the more you stare at it, the more it feels like the universe created this giant as a reminder of how small we truly are. But our journey into its darkness isn't over yet. Because the most terrifying part of TON 618 is not how big it is. It's how big it could still become. Black holes don't stop growing. That single fact is more frightening than anything else in astronomy. TON 618, already the largest black hole humans have ever discovered, is not finished. It is still eating. Still expanding. Still pulling matter from distances so great that it bends the very architecture of the cosmos. To understand how terrifying this is, imagine a creature that grows every time it breathes. Every inhale makes it stronger. Every exhale pulls the world a little closer. This is TON 618. The universe feeds it whether it wants to or not. And the larger a black hole becomes, the faster it grows. This is what astronomers call runaway accretion. Once a black hole crosses a certain threshold, its gravity becomes so enormous that entire clouds of gas collapse toward it. Stars that would normally orbit peacefully are dragged inward. Planets are shredded by tidal forces. Solar systems evaporate into heat and radiation before falling into the hungry mouth. A black hole this big becomes the center of everything nearby. Not because it tries to, but because gravity gives it no choice. TON 618 has reached that stage. It sits at the heart of a long-dead galaxy, a once brilliant system that the black hole has consumed almost entirely. Where vibrant stars once shined, there is now only darkness, illuminated faintly by the ghostly glow of matter spiraling inward. If you could see the galaxy from afar, it would look like a torch that burned too brightly too quickly, and then collapsed into an ember. This is the fate TON 618 imposes on its surroundings. But the true horror lies in its future, not its past. Because black holes can grow far beyond what we currently observe. TON 618 is large, yes. But it is not the limit. It is not the final boss of cosmic monsters. There might be black holes out there with masses in the hundreds of billions of suns. Or trillions. Or more. The universe is unimaginably large, and our telescopes have only peered into the nearest chapters of its story. There may be monsters hidden in the cosmic fog that make TON 618 look small. But even if TON 618 is not the biggest that exists, it is big enough to break our understanding of reality. Let me show you how. The sphere of influence. TON 618's gravity dominates a region of space wider than the entire Milky Way. Its sphere of influence, the distance within which it controls everything, is so colossal that if our galaxy accidentally drifted near it, TON 618 would begin to tear it apart long before we even reached the event horizon. Whole star clusters would unravel like threads releasing from a fabric. Gas clouds would stretch into luminous rivers of falling matter. Planets would be swallowed without leaving a trace. This is not a black hole. It is a cosmic predator. A gravitational king with a throne carved out of absence. And yet, despite this unimaginable power, the space around it is silent. Calm. Peaceful in a strange, unsettling way. You see, enormous black holes like TON 618 are not violent at the event horizon. Their gravity, though strong, is spread across such a huge distance that falling into them feels gentle. Soft. Almost relaxing. This is the paradox of the cosmic monster. The bigger the black hole, the calmer your death. Small black holes tear you apart instantly. Giant black holes let you drift in gently, like you're falling into a warm ocean. But that calmness is a lie. Because inside, the singularity awaits. The singularity, the monster's heart. Every black hole has a singularity, a point where matter collapses to infinite density. In TON 618, the singularity is not a point. It might be a ring. Or a cloud. Or something even stranger that we do not have the mathematics to describe. Inside, space and time no longer act like space and time. They fold, stretch, collide. The inside of a black hole is not a place, it is a process. Physicists think that once you cross the event horizon of a giant black hole, you enter a region where time flows inward. Meaning, you are not falling down. You are falling forward in time, toward the singularity. No matter what you do, no matter how you try to move, you are carried toward the center, because that is the future inside the black hole. You cannot resist. You cannot stop. You cannot turn back. Ton 618 is not just a monster. It is an unavoidable destiny for anything that crosses its path. But here's where things become truly terrifying. The singularity of a supermassive black hole may not just destroy you. It may erase the universe itself. Not literally, but mathematically. Our laws of physics completely collapse at the singularity. Space-time becomes undefined. Equations explode. Reality breaks. Ton 618 holds within it a place where the universe stops following any rules we understand. And yet, billions of years after its birth, it continues to grow, rewriting cosmic neighborhoods in slow, silent hunger. The monster's future. One day, far into the distant future, long after humanity is gone, long after stars stop forming, TON 618 will still be here. Still growing. Still consuming. When the universe becomes cold and dim, black holes will be the final rulers of everything. Galaxies will fade. Stars will die. Matter will thin into almost nothing. But TON 618 will remain, a giant skeleton of gravity hiding in the cosmic night. Then, trillions of years later, even black holes will begin to evaporate through Hawking radiation. Small black holes will disappear first. Medium-sized ones next. But TON 618. Its mass is so monstrous that it will outlive almost every structure in the universe. It will be one of the last things to die. Its lifetime is beyond comprehension. 10 superscript 1 years. A 1 followed by 100 zeros. A timescale so enormous that human language collapses trying to describe it. Ton 618 will watch stars be born and die. It will watch galaxies collide and fade. It will watch the universe stretch into cold emptiness. And then, in a final whisper, a fade so slow it cannot be felt, even TON 618 will evaporate. The monster will dissolve. The cosmos will become dark. And silence will reclaim everything. But our journey into the shadow isn't done yet. Because before this monster dies billions of trillions of years from now, it still has the power to reshape the universe today. The most dangerous truth about TON 618 isn't how big it is. It's how big it could still become, and what that means for the future of galaxies. Far beyond the calm glow of galaxies, beyond the drifting dust clouds and the peaceful rhythm of starlight, there lies a region of space where even time seems nervous to enter. It is here, in this silent, starless gulf, that our cosmic giant waits, a being so old, so impossibly swollen with power, that you could fit thousands of galaxies inside the volume of its influence. And still, it grows. Ton 618 is not just massive. It is actively feeding, like a creature that has outgrown every ecosystem it has ever lived in. The glowing accretion disk around it burns with the light of 100 trillion suns, making it one of the brightest objects in the universe, all because a single, invisible mouth is swallowing whole worlds faster than light can escape. If you were to drift close enough to see it with the naked eye, not possible, but imagine, the sight would challenge the very idea of what you think big means. Ton 618 does not look like a sphere. It does not look like an object. It looks like a cosmic boundary where color, light, and geometry begin to break down. A swirling halo brighter than any star you've ever known surrounds a pit of absolute nothingness, a void so dark that your mind would instinctively refuse to believe it's real. Most black holes are quiet, lonely, forgotten. But the biggest ones, the ultramassive ones, are like kings in exile, sitting at the center of ancient galaxies that burned themselves out long ago. TUN 618 is no different. The galaxy that once hosted it is now barely visible, drained of energy, consumed piece by piece across eons. The black hole didn't destroy it in a sudden explosion, it simply fed until there was nothing left to shine. Scientists estimate the disk around it spans light-years across. Imagine that, not miles, not millions of miles, light-years. If you placed its glowing ring where our solar system is, the light would reach beyond the orbits of every planet, out past Pluto, past the Kuiper belt, even approaching the Oort cloud. A structure larger than the entire sphere that contains every comet and icy rock that has ever visited our sun. And at the center of that swirling chaos, a hole. A hole so big that if you replaced our sun with TON 618, its event horizon, the point of no return, would engulf our solar system tens of times over. This is not an object you observe. This is an environment you are swallowed into. And yet, despite its terrifying scale, TON 618 is quiet. Silent. Calm. Like a sleeping god, floating in the dark. Its size forces us to question the nature of black holes entirely. How do you grow something this big? How long has it been feeding? What kind of universe existed when it began swallowing its first star? Some theories suggest TON 618 began as a direct collapse black hole, born from clouds of primordial hydrogen so massive that instead of forming stars, they collapsed directly into a black hole. Not a small one, but one already millions of solar masses at birth. A baby monster. And over billions of years, it fed on everything around it, stars, gas clouds, whole clusters, until it became the cosmic giant we see today. But here's the strangest part. TUN 618 may not even be the biggest. Some astronomers suspect there are black holes out there with masses in the hundreds of billions of suns, hidden inside galaxy clusters too distant or too faint to detect. These monsters may be so huge that their event horizons stretch across entire solar systems, yet we cannot see them because they are not feeding. They are dormant. Invisible. Sleeping beneath collapsed galaxies like ancient fossils of the early universe. Imagine that, a black hole big enough to swallow hundreds of star systems in a single bite, drifting quietly through the darkness, with no accretion disk, no glow, no evidence of its presence, until something unlucky wanders too close. The universe may be full of such giants. TUN 618 is simply the one we've caught feeding. And this leads us to the final, haunting question. When a black hole becomes this big, this unbelievably massive, does it stop being just a hole in space and become something else entirely? Something like a structure. A boundary. A cosmic engine. A gateway. Some physicists believe that the centers of ultramassive black holes could represent the birthplaces of new universes, regions where spacetime becomes so compressed, so violently unstable, that an entirely new reality could bud off inside. A new Big Bang, hidden inside a place where nothing can escape. If true, then TON 618 is more than a monster. It's a universe generator. A cosmic womb. A place where creation hides behind destruction. As you drift backward now, slowly leaving the gravitational presence of this ancient giant, its light fades from burning blue to a dim, ghostly shimmer. Space becomes quiet again. Stars reappear. The cosmos returns to its familiar rhythm. And yet, the silence feels different now. Because once you've seen the largest black hole ever discovered. Once you've felt the weight of something that bends not just space, but meaning. You realize how small everything else truly is. This is the universe, vast, ancient, terrifying, and beautiful. And somewhere in that endless darkness, TON 618 continues to feed. Patiently. Silently. Growing even bigger. A monster with an appetite older than time. And we, Tiny, curious travelers, can only watch from afar, listening to the quiet heartbeat of a cosmic giant that will outlive stars themselves.